If you look around outside, you'll see some people that look successful. You'll see some people that look like they have their entire lives figured out already. And then if you look on the internet, you'll see everybody look successful. You'll see everybody have their life figured out for some reason. And it's demotivating when you compare that to yourself and you realize that you don't have everything figured out and you're not as successful as them. But it's not a fair comparison at all, because you're not seeing them the way that you see yourself. You're comparing every single aspect of your life to the best parts of their life. Every single time you see a post or a comment by people, you don't see the insecurities that they have. You don't see the work that they put in. You don't see the work that they didn't put in. You don't see the things that they hide from the world. Versus how you see all of your insecurities. You see all of the work that you didn't put in. You see everything that you hide from the world. We see every single flaw in ourselves, but we don't see that in them. You're comparing all of you, every flaw, every insecurity, to the best 10% of them that they're putting on the internet. The popular phrase is that comparison is the thief of joy. And I'm sure you've heard that phrase countless times, from yourself, from friends, from family. And I'm sure that every time you begin to compare yourself, your friends may say that quote to you, and you may say that quote to yourself. But if you could prevent yourself from feeling something with just one quote or one phrase, then nobody would have any issues at all. I say that because just because you're aware of the fact that comparison is the thief of joy doesn't mean it's going to impact you any less. Especially growing up in a generation full of cell phones, full of technology, saying a simple phrase isn't going to fix your natural instinct. Your natural instinct to go on social media and compare yourself to the next person. There are no phrases, no quotes that can stop that with a flip of a switch. So it's not enough to just acknowledge the fact that comparison is the thief of joy. We need an actual mentality shift. We need to realize that no matter who we're looking at, no matter how successful, how popular the person looks, nobody has life figured out. Look at the way that you act on social media. Look at the things you post, look at the things you like, look at the things you respond to. Everything is somewhat intentional. Everything is somewhat articulate. There's hesitation in the things that you like because you know that people can see it. Whether it's you not wanting to like a controversial post because you don't want people to think you're a bad person, or you just not wanting to like another girl's post because you know your girlfriend's gonna see it. Nobody wants to like something that's gonna make them look bad. There's hesitation in the things that you post because you know that whatever you post is a direct reflection of how you want other people to see you. Similar to what I said before, nobody's gonna want to post something that's gonna make them look bad. There's even hesitation in the things that you respond to for the same exact reasons. Nobody wants to respond to something and look bad because of it. Whether you recognize it or not, everybody has a self-image that they want to portray. And all of the things that I said, all of the hesitations come from a feeling of wanting to have your life figured out. Wanting to have our life figured out to the point where people view us as perfect, because subconsciously that's how we see everybody else. When you're home alone and then go on the internet and see other people hanging out with their friends, we view that person as having their entire life figured out. Because at the time, that's a flaw that we think we have. And the only thing that we're saying is that the other person doesn't have that flaw. When we see another person post their partner, we feel like they have their entire lives figured out, simply because we don't see what goes into it. We don't see the arguments, we don't see the bad days, we don't see the toxicity, we don't see any of the imperfections. We're just seeing the best parts of this person's life. We see that that person has their life figured out, but they're doing the same thing that we do. They view us the same way that we view them. They're viewing us as people to impress on social media. They hesitate with everything they post. They hesitate with everything they like the same way that we do. And if you find yourself relating to anything that I said in this video, then that just proves that it's not just you. We all subconsciously feel this way. And so when you go on the internet and you judge yourself and you compare yourself to people that look like they're living a perfect life, we need to realize that these people are literally thinking the exact same way that we're thinking. No matter how successful, no matter how popular, no matter how rich, no matter how perfect this person looks, they're humans just like us, and they're thinking the same way that we think. And the way that we think can be summarized by something called the 10% rule. We could have 90% of the things that we want in life and still feel like there's something missing. Still feel like there's a void that needs to be filled for some reason. And to fill that void, we're looking for that 10% in another person. For example, I could love everything about my life, but 10% of me wishes I had more money. I'm ignoring the 90% of me that's a leader, that's confident, that's smart, etc. And I'm stone cold focused on finding that 10%. And so the second that I find the person that has the 10% that I'm looking for, which in this case could be money, I compare myself to them. When I didn't realize that while I was obsessing over the 10% of this person that has money, I was ignoring the 90% of them that treats other people poorly, that judges others, and other qualities that I just wouldn't want to see in a person. When you compare yourself and find something that you think you don't have, you're ignoring 90% of both of you and glorifying the 10%. That's why we think that everybody has everything figured out, because we're so focused on the 10% that we're not noticing the 90%. And like I said, most people think like this. Well, most of the people that don't realize it. But I'm telling you, the second that you realize it, you start to view it completely differently. So no, the person that you're seeing does not have everything figured out. They don't even have half of it figured out. In the grand scheme of things, we're all pretty much on the same level of life. We all compare ourselves. Even the people that say that they don't, even the people that look perfect, we all do. The only difference between you and them isn't that they're ahead of you. The difference is that you're the only person being honest. And being honest is the first step in making change. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. See you guys next time.